ESN TV coverage of the 12th Annual Consortium for School Networking Conference is sponsored by Smart Technologies, N Computing, and CCC Video on Demand, in cooperation with Cable in the Classroom and Consortium for School Networking.
Well, this is our 15th year of existence, our 12th annual conference, and every other year we've been in Washington, D.C., so this is a big, exciting move for us. It's our biggest conference ever. We're excited about that, and you know, it lets us reach a whole new set of school districts who couldn't always travel to Washington, D.C.
This eSchool News interview from the 12th Annual CoSN Conference will continue after this message.
N Computing's mission is to get a computing station in front of every student at every school. Our technology works by installing an N Computing PCI card into a normal desktop PC. You then take a simple networking cable and connect it to an N Station box. All you have to do then is install our software, a monitor, mouse, and keyboard, and you are ready to go. With the N Computing stations, you can expand one host by up to 7 stations. This means that effectively you are turning one PC into the equivalent of 7 PCs for a fraction of the cost of buying a new PC.
Keith, let's start by discussing what you think is technology's greatest potential to transform teaching and learning.
I think the greatest potential of technology in education is around personalized learning or individualization. Certainly it's something that good educators have always tried to do. I think that the power of technology is to take that to the next level. And we really see that in other industry sectors. When you go on Amazon.com, they don't think of you as an average customer. They think of what you've done before. They predict what you might be interested in. That's what we need to get to on the learning side. We need to individualize instruction and help the teacher so that they know what that individual student knows, but even beyond that, what interventions might help the student succeed.
Individualized instruction, of course, is a key theme at this year's conference. Another key theme is the value of technology investments and how to measure technology's value in schools. Could you talk about that a little bit?
It's really a kind of a breakthrough concept, we think. For years we've had folks say, well, what's the ROI of technology? Why should we do it? And we certainly get those questions from superintendents and school boards and decision makers and legislators in Congress. We've come to the conclusion that ROI isn't the right term, that it's really, the question that we're asking is what's the value? We're not a business, we're not about profitability or return to shareholders, and efficiency is great, but that's not the core mission of schools. So we know that educators, particularly those who are education technology champions, are pretty good at giving a vision around why we want to make an investment. Maybe we want to engage kids, or maybe we want to provide a ubiquitous environment, or whatever the issue is. But all too often, after the vision is set and the program starts, there hasn't been a decision on what sort of the metrics are for measuring whether or not we're making any progress towards those visions. Now, you know, there are a lot of challenges to this because most of the value of technology in education is intangible. It's not that we're, you know, going to see I mean, there are some things that are measurable, but the question is, how do we show the intangible value of technology? And we think that we have to get more rigorous about that. We need that although they are intangible, that doesn't mean they're not measurable. For instance, if we're talking about student engagement, there are a whole lot of ways that you can measure that. You can look at student attendance. You can look at a pre and post survey of when we put in the before we put in the technology and after. Did it have any impact? We can match it up with test scores to see if kids that were absent on that particular day missed it because of just not being there. So, you know, there's a whole lot of more, I think, powerful and innovative ways. And frankly, as technology leaders, I don't think that we have much credibility with our decision makers if we don't be real honest about what the cost is and really looking at what the value is. And so we need a whole set of a toolbox for educators to really succeed and make the case.
This eSchool News interview from the 12th Annual CoSN Conference will continue after this message.
CCC, the new leader in video on demand, offers the best in core curriculum content, not recycled television. Our content partners are the nation's most respected producers of educational media. CCC offers thousands of programs and tens of thousands of teaching segments, all correlated to state, national, and Canadian standards. It's education, not edutainment. For more information on CCC Video on Demand, visit ndmccc.com.
Yet another important theme at this year's CoSN conference is Web 2.0 technologies. How are these changing the dynamic of educational technology, and how can school leaders best harness their potential?
I think it really is kind of, again, a very exciting time. There are these new, what I would call collaborative tools, whether it's wikis or blogs or IMing or a whole, or collaborative share environments where it isn't so much about content being delivered or information being shared by one other person, but rather building knowledge and customizing it for that individual, or in the case of maybe a community, a classroom, building a wiki for their community.
Final question is the role of open technologies in education and what role those are playing.
I think that open technologies is a very profound shift for education, one that we're at a very, very early stage at. And all too often, educators think that by open technologies we're only talking about open source, and we're not. Open source is one piece of enabling the ability to perhaps create some new community-based applications. But open technologies is, and we have a major initiative in that area, is really about interoperability. It's, right now we have a lot of closed stovetop sort of solutions that don't talk to each other. So you end up with data over here about attendance that doesn't talk to our, our student information system, and it isn't connected to the classroom data that's real time. So we need to move towards interoperability. We also need to, I think, most powerfully, you were talking about Web 2.0 tools a minute ago, and that's really at the desktop application. What are we able to do educationally if our networks are more open? It's a challenge. We have all these powerful tools, and yet schools pretty much ban an awful lot of them. What is the right balance of enabling openness and collaboration, which is what the purpose of an educational network is, and keeping it safe and secure so that the inappropriate things that happen on the web don't happen during school hours or to our teachers or students. So it's about managing risk, and it's about educating your superintendents, your parents, your school boards about the fact that, we're not talking about a bank network where we only want it to do 2 or 3 things when we slide in our ATM card. That educational networks are about learning, and that's collaborative and involves a lot of people. And if we clamp down our network so tightly that it becomes unusable for education, then all we have is really an expensive administrative system. But these are not simple questions, and I think that what CoSN is about is around building new types of educational leaders who understand the power of technology and see the promise of what is possible, and can help educate their communities about how to make that reality.
The interactive whiteboard is immediately impressive. They have found an increase in student participation, and that is also translated into higher test scores. Synchronize is a classroom management product that runs on the laptops of the students as well as the teacher. Synchronize allows that teacher to effectively manage the students in a one-to-one environment. Bridget is our conferencing software. Bridget really becomes a very valuable tool for delivering online learning. The Centio student response system allows the teachers to present questions to students and allow them to respond and answer in their own way. The benefit of being able to go to one solution provider to get this seamless integration of all the products working together in that environment.